Welcome to the hidden history of Xbox. I can't promise that we're going to be uncovering evidence of alien visitors or lost civilizations, but we do have some very cool Xbox factoids that you might never have heard before. Xbox consoles themselves are absolutely full of surprises. The Xbox Series X, for example, has a tiny little Master Chief logo stamped on the inside, while the Xbox One S had one etched onto its optical disc drive. Basically, if you crack an Xbox console open, there's a good chance you'll find a Spartan lurking somewhere in there. Still, probably not a good idea though, unless you know how to put it back together. The special edition Xbox Series X consoles that were released for Halo's 20th anniversary also have a Zeta Halo symbol painted on the outside. And while that obviously means you won't need to open it up to catch a peek, you will need a black light to see it.
You'll also find the message "Hello from Seattle," a reference to the city that Microsoft is based in, engraved on all sorts of Xbox hardware, usually tucked away in hard-to-reach places. It's written across the bottom of the Xbox Series X and S, and on the back of the Xbox One S, and even on the inside of each Xbox controller's battery compartment. Hello, Seattle. Some of those Xbox Easter eggs are pretty hard to spot, but they've got nothing on the one hidden in the original Xbox's dashboard, which took over 20 years to uncover. And even then, we only found out about it after one of the developers anonymously leaked it. It turns out that if you rip a CD onto an original Xbox console and title it "To Me," spelled with precisely 26 Ys and ending in an exclamation mark, then head to the System's Info section of the settings menu, you'll instead be greeted by a simple screen displaying the 4 members of the Xbox dashboard team.
Yeah, perhaps it's not the most exciting reward in the world, but it's always nice when people get credit for their hard work, and there is something deeply satisfying about just how well hidden this little secret was. The Xbox logo's signature shade of green is so iconic that you can just say Xbox Green and everyone immediately knows what you're talking about. In fact, you're picturing it in your head right now, aren't you? But the funny thing is that it came about basically by accident. It all starts with a man named Horace Luke, who was working as one of the lead designers for the original Xbox when he bought an exceptionally sick-looking set of new marker pens. Everyone who's ever worked in an office or sat in a classroom knows exactly what happened next. His colleagues immediately borrowed every last one of them.
All that is, except for a particularly vibrant shade of neon green. They started brainstorming logo ideas, Horace turned to the last remaining pen in his collection, and the rest, as they say, is history. With the colour chosen, there was just one decision left to make before the developers could proudly present their bouncing baby game console to the world. What on earth were they going to call it? A large number of names were floated, including a lot of acronyms like the MTG for Microsoft Total Gaming, or the MOX, which stood for Microsoft Optimal Experience. There was a period where the X11 or the 11X looked like it might win out, followed by the Direct Xbox, which was inspired by the fact that the console would be using a new version of DirectX graphics hardware.
Finally, they chopped off the direct part and arrived at the name we now all know and love. Although, frankly, I've always felt like it was missing another 2 letters on the end. It's now a well-established part of gaming history that the original Xbox was a truly game-changing machine, introducing series like Halo and ushering in the era of online gaming. But the innovations of this formidably full-figured machine didn't end there. The original Xbox was also the first console to have a built-in hard drive, allowing it to rip music off of CDs and letting players save their game data without messing around with memory cards. Effectively, it was laying the groundwork for the all-streaming, all-dancing entertainment hubs that consoles would eventually become.
It was also the first console to feature Dolby Interactive content encoding technology, which basically meant that it was able to deliver surround sound in real time during gameplay rather than just when a cutscene was playing. Again, when you look at the cinematic games we're getting today and the incredible spatial sound with the Xbox Series X and S deliver it with, it all starts with the original Xbox. Xbox then took things up a notch with the release of the Xbox 360, which, on top of being an incredibly impressive bit of gear, came with a couple of charming freebies. The first was a pre-installed game called Hexic, created by one of the most important people in gaming history, Tetris inventor Alexei Pajnatov. This clever tile-switching puzzle game was the perfect title to tickle your brain with before you went tearing back in for another grisly Gears of War session.
And one of our favourite features from the original Xbox was that ability to rip music off of CDs that we mentioned earlier, and the 360 even saved you some trouble by arriving with its own pre-loaded mixtape of tracks, including some great tunes by folks like New Order, Funeral for a Friend, and Porcupine Tree. While some aspects of the Xbox might have come about through happy accidents and office thievery, most of them are the result of a tireless quest for gaming perfection. And nothing embodies that better than the Xbox One controller. By this point, the Xbox team were already pretty damn great at gamepads, but they wanted this one to be truly special, and they didn't care what it took to get there.
Which is good because it turns out what it took was a 35-person team working through 200 different prototypes over a 3-year period. To be absolutely sure they'd got it right, they spent a combined 500 hours testing the gamepad with over 1,000 different consumers too, making sure they'd landed on a design that would comfortably fit in almost anyone's hands. At one stage, they even considered giving the controller the ability to emit scents to create an even more immersive gaming experience. And while I usually encourage that kind of outside-the-box thinking, I am kinda glad I've never had to learn what a room full of dead locusts smells like. Ew. With the Xbox Series X and S era now fully up and running, we can only imagine what sorts of secrets we'll be uncovering in the future. If you've got any Xbox secrets of your own you'd like to share, feel free to fire them into the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more Xbox info. Bye!